Today we've got Nix with us from Petrichor Oils, and it's just so beautiful looking through all the socials here. It's crafted in South Africa, and she's also an aromacologist, and there's scents, there's oils, there's so many different products here. I can't wait to jump in. So I'm going to hand over straight to you. Welcome. Can you give us a bit of an introduction?
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me. It's always such a pleasure to talk to people about, I guess about yourself, but actually what you do. And what am I? Lots of different things. The main thing is an aromacologist, aromatherapist, scent consultant, scent advisor, yoga teacher, and breathwork too. But I generally work now with scent consulting and just working with my own brand as well and other people's.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and
So
sorry,
what lessons?
just to mention also, like the main thing for me is using natural products and just bringing that into more of an awareness, especially in the
Yeah.
hospitality trade as well.
Absolutely. What led you to become involved in this kind of, I want to call it a field, aromatherapy, natural scent, and what drives you to keep going? You obviously love it. You're very passionate about it.
Very passionate, very, very passionate. It always reminds me of the book Perfume. That's still my holy Bible. It reminds me so much of why, scent is so important to me. And I always joke that I could kill, but I'm not going to, obviously, for a scent. But I become obsessed, either trying to create it, finding it, all of that, sourcing it. But it all actually started when I was very young and I went to Morocco with my mother. Must have been about 7 or 8, and we walked through the spice markets, and the only thing I wanted to do was buy the smelly things. And my
Mm.
mother bought this amber, so a rock that had amber on it, which she actually still wears to this day. And it was such an incredible experience that all I spoke about was the scents, and I wanted to go back and smell more, and I wanted to only buy those things. And then it just evolved. My mother's very natural. I've basically grown up with this lifestyle, and it just
Yes.
created, yeah. And then when I had a lot of experiences, I want to say, I don't want to say traumas anymore, life experiences, I went down a very, very difficult road, and I needed to find something. So whilst I was self-healing myself
Mm.
and becoming more engaged to the aromatherapy side of things in New York and other places, it just threw me into yoga world, into therapy, learning how to be a therapist, to becoming understanding the relationship between scents and therapy, and then eventually just becoming who I am right now. And there is so much to learn. I don't think that I've even scratched the surface, and that's really exciting to me.
It's incredible. And also the healing that comes with scent. There's a lot of people that actually don't realize the huge connection, but we'll get into that.
Yes.
In your opinion, what defines wellness and what does health and wellness look like for you personally?
So the thing is, I think wellness is tailor-made to yourself. I can't say that there's this strict regime of this and that will create a wellness for you. I found that for me, for example, wellness is consistency, and also being, when I say consistent, there is a bit of being controlled and strict, but actually also allowing yourself to be playful and enjoying yourself life. There's one thing I've learned is, if you want to have that whiskey, or if you want to go out for a dance or whatever, that's exactly what you need to do. And then there's also times where you need to be quiet and you need to be
Mm.
in yourself, truly yourself. Wellness is a way of being. And then we have so many ways of tools of helping ourselves with that. Through me, scent for me is just pivotal. Like, it just changes our emotional state in seconds. And then for me also, a lot of people don't think this is bizarre, but I go to a therapist every single week. Why I do this is because it's so important for me to express how I'm feeling,
Yeah.
that it becomes almost like a life coach to me, because she's been with me for so many years. She's also holistic. And Shiv and I will just talk about anything and everything. And, memories come back so many times to
Mm.
revisit you. and it plays a part in ourself, especially being perimenopausal. I have to work on like being bigger and like everything sagging and da 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 da. So I would say yeah, it definitely is a way.
The
But
joys.
the joys of getting older and wiser. But also exercise. I'm lucky that I teach my business partner. I instruct yoga and personal training for her. So that actually pushes me to get up in the morning to go and do that for her and also compile the hour that we're going to be together. So it's like a double whammy, which is fantastic. Being in nature, listening to great music. And the biggest thing for me, I realize, is also supplements. Big time. That's been, adaptogens and just finding my balance somewhere when it gets all a little bit too much.
Amazing. I resonate with all of that. Okay, so how does scent play into well-being? How do you link the senses to a transformed or elevated mental state?
Okay, so for me, it comes very natural. I've trained myself so many times that I understand what scent can do, and when I'm feeling a certain way, what to use. But what I do find that, because to go back into the science part of it quickly, is when we inhale a scent, it's the fastest sense that goes to our emotional brain. It goes directly past the logical brain, it goes straight to the emotional brain, and within seconds you are shifted in some way. It can be good, it can be bad, but in that, when we inhale, the molecules go to the olfactory bulb, and there it goes to the limbic system. The limbic system is what I speak about a lot. It's a nervous system that holds our memories, our fight and flight, our a million different ways, but what it does hold with our memories is the traumas as well as the good memories. So think about a scent that reminds you of your grandmother's cooking or your daughter, or something that really fills you with such amazingness. That can
Yes.
be so transformative, is having something that reminds you of good and then applying that in an intentional way. Especially if you do breath work, or if you work with meditation, or you go for a walk, or you just sit intentionally and say, I am putting this scent on because it makes me feel good. Already you've done many, many, many hours of therapy without even realizing it. And calming. The other thing about scent is that with limbic system, a certain scent will lower your cortisol, work with the parasympathetic system, so that's the rest and restore. And then certain ones will trigger that, will stimulate the clarity and focus and energy, and that's your sympathetic nervous system. So everything has a purpose as well, because we all go through this. So for example, impepo, which is natural from our mountains here, is a wonderful one for clarity and focus. It's that one that, like, the frontal cortex literally gets numbed and the irrational brain is stopped, and you can actually think clearly. Then, for example, jasmine, which is an antidepressant, or bergamot, is really euphoric. So you feel really good, and you can actually be lighter to go to sleep or just to be in a good space. Also, I was just thinking rosemary. If you smell a rosemary plant, it directly goes to behind your eyes, and every plant or every scent that you smell, it will hit you in a certain place in your body, and that is
That's
where it's working.
incredible. Yeah.
Try it out. Really interesting, and do it with your daughter
Wow.
as well. Get her to
Yeah.
close her eyes and smell. I don't know how old she is, but get her to smell.
She's
And oh yeah, perfect age. And do it yourself. Smell and think about where it's hitting you. Like the rosemary, for example, is here, and it works with our eyes as well as our third eye in the spiritual sense. It's also really good for headaches or clarity or focus. Any eye issues that you have, rosemary is also really good. So just work with that, and then become your own master at alchemy by just smelling and seeing where it works.
yes. Okay, perfect. So let's chat about using oils to cleanse the face. I know some of us, I do for instance. So double cleansing, what products or natural ingredients would you recommend? And also, are these age specific? So sort of perimenopause when things are happening, or acne when you're younger, sort of what works?
So there's this misconception. I think more and more people are understanding now that oil is actually good for cleansing.
Mm,
But there was a misconception that if you use just a soap or sort of a similar ingredient, it would really clean your face. But what it actually does is strips the skin's natural barrier. So certain oils have certain functions, and oils will actually bind with excess sebum or sunscreen or gritty stuff on your face or makeup, and then you're actually able to take that layer off in one fell swoop rather than scrub, and then sort of taking all these layers off too. I say sort of the double cleansing thing. I generally do that at night just so that I can lather more and more on top of each other and, sleep with this mask of goodie.
yeah,
I have to say, I've got quite a few different cleansers that I make myself, and I work accordingly to my time of the month or
yeah,
stresses. They're all kind of blends, and I love frankincense is a really good one for your skin, as well as evening primrose or grapeseed, or adding some drops of rose oil in it, or it's endless how many things. And I'm actually doing more on this next year with our facial products that we'll
amazing.
release is cleansers. The research, the products that you can find. I mean, I'll talk about Irish sea moss. It's phenomenal. It's changed my face, my skin so
Wow.
much. And I eat it as well, because obviously what you eat is really important as well.
Yes, of course.
And then the best thing about it's so inexpensive, and you just put it as a gel over your face. So I did it this morning actually. I mean, as you can tell. And what it does is it creates a mask. Like your face feels tight actually. You're like sitting there, feel like you've got like a facelift. Not that I know what that feels like, but then you take it off, and it's sort of a natural exfoliant, but at the same time, the vitamin D's and A's and E's and things that are in there, with all the sea minerals, it just fills with like a natural collagen too. And
Sounds divine.
then I will put my Radiant Elixir blend, which has become one of my top sellers, which is a serum made from hyaluronic acid. It's also got a papaya phytoline, which is a enzyme, natural enzyme. And what it does, it goes into your skin and actually eats away at all the toxins and the bad things that are on the top layer. So it allows other ingredients to go in. So it's cleaning your face. It's like I always think of like a little worker, like sitting there scrubbing my little face and like picking all the dead skin cells. And then I add the face oils on top of that. Wait for that while I'm using a facial massager, the LED one, which is phenomenal too. And I just work with my own massaging skills. Then I add another layer, which is usually my Miracle Rose Balm.
That
And then I
sounds
sleep
incredible.
incredibly well too. It's a
I'm
self.
sure it's so calming.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
mists. Like I'm forever gonna mist somewhere
misty.
in my vicinity, and all I do is just sit there misting myself.
Especially in summer, it is so, I don't know, but I've got incredibly dry skin, so having that extra hydration is really makes a lot of sense.
Highly recommend
Okay.
Irish sea moss for you then as well. It helps with dry skin.
Yes. Okay, so one thing I love to explore is trends. Are there any trends in terms of ingredients or anything that you think will kind of blow up next year and become huge?
I wonder if they're already huge and I just don't know. I haven't really seen that because I kind of go on my own journey. But what I would
Yeah.
definitely say is sea minerals and ocean plants. So one of
Mm.
my very, very, it's become a really popular scent of mine is called Umoya. And it's made actually because I was creating a scent for a restaurant called Fane here in Cape Town.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And they have an underwater sea kelp experience, this fine dining that's next level. And they wanted a scent as you walked in. So we created a very natural underwater scent, which is very sea minerally, oceanly, salts, scent. And that, yeah, really lovely. And that brought something very, very much alive to me. We don't explore a lot of that as a scent. We explore the flowers and the plants, the green things, but actually finds that the ocean minerals or the plants that grow by the coast, like cura and sea fennel and all of those, are so good for us in our sensory way, but also for our skin. So that I think is going to blow up in a big way, or at least I'm going to blow that up in a big way.
I was just going to say, I'll join you on that. No, it
Yeah,
sounds
it's lovely. And it's very refreshing, especially for the summer. I just sprayed it on me. It smells of the ocean, but also has a bit of a citrus, and it's using African botanicals in there too. So you have this play of like sharp, refreshing, but also like you're by the ocean sitting on the beach, which is also so lovely as well. What else? I think also, I've been creating quite a bit of natural makeup, natural pigmented
lovely.
arms and sort of the cheeks and for the lips and all of that. And I even use it contouring and all of that. I haven't used it much today. I spoke about the papaya phytoline. I think the pineapple and papaya phytoline is going to be a big one too. Also thinking natural SPFs is going to be a big one. I'm working on a range of natural SPF as a makeup. I use HelioCare at the moment for my natural SPF foundation basically. But I think there's a lot that we can do with plants here, like red raspberry seed extract is a natural SPF, even coconut. There's quite a few different ones that we can work with, apart from the zincs and stuff. Irish sea moss, as I spoke about before. Also something called camellia seed. Really good, especially for aging skin. We were talking earlier and you said, is it age specific? I don't feel like you doing the cleansing and the oils is age specific. I think again we work with what our skin is doing at the moment.
Yes.
And my son at 13 is cleansing his skin with some things, and then he's adding the miracle balm afterwards because of dry skin, and it's working for him even with the breakouts and everything. It's really helping. Camellia seed is like, it feels so luxurious. Camellia seed is also really good to take in. It's the same as moringa. I use moringa quite a lot in my face oil, but I eat it. I put it on my face. I think moringa is going to blow up even more this coming year as well. Squalene, there's quite a few things that I think is going to be big next year.
Yes, divine. I want to chat to you next about sustainability because I see your brand obviously being natural and organic and all of that, biodegradable, locally manufactured, another thing. So why is this all so important to you? You mentioned your mom, that this is kind of a natural flow for you already.
Yeah. I think sustainability, I don't think scent should cost the earth. And when I say that cost the earth, I mean both in a financial way, but also harming the earth as well. What I've realized working with botanicals, natural botanicals, is that we actually rely so much on our land and the people that grow it and look after our land for us. And having a partnership with that relationship between people, land, and consistency in looking after it and the well-being of all of this in working together is not actually a trend. It's a responsibility of ours to keep going. And there's a lot of it that we can't do completely yet. And that's also okay. I mean, there's no shaming in certain things too. But having a relationship, I work a lot with local artisans and local farmers, but it doesn't say that I don't work with a lot of international people too, who we work together and we give each other advice. And, it's free. We don't ask of any money of it. We actually just talk as a community. And if I get oils, like I've just received a package from New Zealand from someone, and then I've received something from somewhere else, learning about each other's amazingness that we have around the world is also important, but trying
Yes.
so hard to keep the local is for me top of the list. Buying a
Yes.
geranium that comes from Europe when we actually make it ourselves is crazy. But saying that, export is such a big business that a lot of our quality goes overseas and then we have to buy it back to get it cheaper than what we can get it here. But that's also like that footprint is it's not worth it. We need to try and keep a light footprint as much as possible. And that's the same with being biodegradable, recyclable. It's that relationship and teaching our kids how that works and why it's important to my staff have worked with me for a long time. And the reason is because I keep the relationship well. You know, there's sustainability doesn't just mean being working with
Yes.
recyclables. It's about community and working with
Yes.
what, you know, everyone is an emotional being and actually just honoring that too, so that we honor our African heritage and apothecary.
Okay, so tell us about the amazing benefits of Palo Santo. I don't know if I said that wrong. An organic Indian rose. How are they sourced? Is there any history to using them? I'm sure there must be some interesting, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I've obviously just burnt my Palo Santo stick for this. But so Palo Santo, both of them again are not from this country. Palo Santo
Okay.
is a holy wood that comes from South America. It is a very, it's a touchy conversation to have because it's been overused and really exploited in different ways. So I work with an NGO called One Love, and they are actually Californian based, but they work in South America, and they work with the community to do reforestation and make sure that everything is done in the most sustainable and
Fantastic.
ethical practices. So when you buy the Palo Santo, which is over 30 years old and has naturally come to a place of about to fall over or something, that's when you can use the Palo Santo wood, for example. Extracting the oils is really important the way they do it because there is a way, in a custom way, that the South Americans work with it. And it's a really incredible source of an ingredient. Not only does it give you clarity and it gives you a sense of groundedness. I find when you smell Palo Santo, like if I just take just the smell of that, I feel so aligned, all my chakras, you literally go, and you feel that.
Oh, amazing.
I struggle, for example, to wear a lot of Palo Santo on me. I find it too much. So I dab if I use it or I burn it. But Pasha Mama, which is my signature flagship scent that everyone is nuts about, I can't ever keep up with the orders. Whereas the Indian rose is interesting because that came from a trip I did when I was 19 years old. I was by myself and backpacking. My father just unfortunately had passed away quite tragically. He was murdered, and I was backpacking, and I was in India by myself, and I sat in Pushkar, and I sat on this rooftop, and I just thought, I can't anymore. I don't have it in me. I had been everything had possibly happened to me on the buses and the trains and as a single female with blonde hair. It was really, really quite an experience. And I sat on this rooftop. Yeah, and I sat on this rooftop and I cried and I cried. And then I
90.
suddenly,
I mean, what a heavy load to, yeah, that's a
yeah, and
lot.
the worst part of it is I was supposed to meet people and they weren't there when I went to meet them. And at that time we didn't have cell phones and it was Hotmail. Yeah, so it was but it was needed. I realized how much actually I needed that. I didn't know how to be alone before that. And then I got the waft of this scent, and I was like, and I literally felt my entire body. It's like everything came, I floated. It felt like I was floating on the rooftop and I was looking down on myself, and it just expanded my heart. And I had this sense of everything's going to be fine. And it's come to revisit me a few times. It came from Pushka. So when I sourced it, I couldn't believe that it actually came from an organic rose farm in India. It's beautiful how the story has like given its full circle and how it
Yes.
heals so many people. I struggle to wear normal rose, like I would say normal is what people know rose is, English
Yes, the
rose, rose
usual.
Damascus.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean I can, but Indian rose has a different way. But firstly, it does two different things. This Indian rose is really good for bringing that self-esteem, the
Mm.
confidence, the adolescent self where you critique yourself all the time and you don't think you're good enough, the self-worth in that. It's really good. It's telling yourself that you are good and you're confident and you're amazing. And so it's like a drip feed of that. The English rose, the rose Damascus, is really good for the confidence in going forward in something. So I think because I need so much more in my healing of my teenage years,
Yes.
that is quite strong and why I work with it. So it's a very different smell, and also the way they extract it is a very beautiful way of in a big clay pot, and they turn it and they use it with water and they keep turning this until it almost ferments to a stage. So it's
Mm.
very musky as well.
I was just
So
gonna say, yeah.
yeah, it's a really, really wonderful scent, and I personally wear the Pushka Rose as a body oil, as a mist, is one of my favorites.
It's incredible. It's so funny how you're listing all these properties of these scents, and I obviously have my favorites, and now you're telling me it does this, it does that, and I'm like, how did I intuitively know that? Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you know, and you're drawn to something because you need it. Actually, it's
Well,
it's
this is why I do
incredible.
this. When I create the individual scents for people and businesses, for people alone, I do scent tests on you to see what's coming up emotionally, and we
Mm.
intentionally create a scent for you that you need. But what I'm actually doing is subconsciously teaching you how to do this yourself. Because as you're
Yes,
smelling things, you're going, "Ooh, I really like that. That's interesting. I really like that.
yeah,
Ooh, I like that." It's going to allowing you to do the same thing when you go into a shop. You can smell things
yes.
or on your shelf and go, and peppermint is really interesting for me today. I might wear a little bit of that. I'm wearing cedarwood at the moment, which I love with my Pushka
I
rose.
love to.
Well, it
I
makes a
love
lot
it.
of sense because cedarwood is really good about speaking authentically. It's
Oh,
quite grounding,
amazing.
but it's really good
Yes,
at allowing you to speak as well. So yeah, that's you doing it yourself.
exactly. It's very intuitive. I think your body holds so many, I don't know what you want to call it, whether it's like ancient wisdom or intelligence
Yeah.
of a level that we are just not tapping into anymore. But we used to know all of this. I'm pretty sure of that.
I think we're going back to it quite a bit though. I do find that
Yes, I think
younger
so too.
generations, yeah, they're working on their intuition and their wisdoms and their heritages. And I think if you allow yourself to not be busy, I think we briefly
And
spoke
be
also
still.
about that.
Yes,
I think a lot comes up intuitively as well, whether it's ideas or
absolutely.
understandings, and you don't understand where it's come from, but it's just there.
I think it's
So I think
creating time for that opportunity to allow itself to come out. Because if we're not still and we're not allowing ourselves that time, it's just going to lie dormant, unfortunately. And just,
yeah, totally, totally. And we are so incredible as human beings, but we take
exactly.
advantage of our intelligence and our busyness that we've created. But actually, our biggest force in us is our quiet time, because
Exactly.
that stillness is where we not only look after our health and our well-being, but it actually is a way to communicate to ourselves as well. And
To
to,
ourselves, exactly. Connect, reconnect to our body, our mind.
yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
What are your top three favorite natural products? I think you've listed like two already. What do they do? Well, you've also,
I mean, I have to say, like, obviously with my own products, I'd love them all. But yeah, I mean, okay, with mine, like I've spoken obviously about the Irish sea moss and stuff. That's not even my product, although it is going to be something I do. For me,
yes,
Umoya, again, I've spoken about it. The Face Trio
yes,
says, I know it's three products, but I call it the face trio, so it's one. And the Pushka Rose, I would say, are my absolute favorites. I'm loving my new diffusers, natural diffusers and candles. I'm finding that like it's such a great way to constantly smell something without it being directly on your body as well. So I would say that, and body oils. I mean, I go
Oh, I
through so
love
many.
body oils.
Oh, the best. Like beach days for summer. There's just
Yes.
nothing better than just oiling myself up with scent. And the beach days has got a natural SPF in it, and it's so good for your skin after you've been for a swim or you've been in the natural elements. So yeah, I would say beach days is pretty much up there right now too.
Amazing. Will you walk us through your morning and night face regime for summer, just so we can get an idea of what products you're using morning and night?
Okay, so mornings I will obviously have a shower and wash myself as much as, like my face as much as I can. I have to admit, I don't do a huge amount of products of cleansing my face as much as people think. I find
Yes.
water and maybe something in the shower is good, but I mean my girlfriend often says to me like she doesn't understand how I don't use a lot of face washes and stuff. I actually find that it does more harm for me in the morning. And then I'll do the radiant elixir, then I'll generally do the skin repair, and while I do that I use the LED face massager or my hands.
Yes.
I won't use the Miracle Balm sometimes during the day, or I'll use that instead of the skin repair if my skin is very tight from wind or anything. Helio Care I use as a natural SPF and foundation. I always mist my face like an attitude adjuster and also just a hydration thing. I've got about three in my bags that I constantly use if I'm feeling hot and bothered or dry or just generally need like a bit of a scent. And then I'll always use a body oil, and then I'll always also add a little concentrated scent. Like today I
Yes.
use cedarwood, but I'll maybe have my little roller stick and use one of my scents, whatever may be, whatever I feel like. Phoenix if I'm feeling a bit low and sad, something like that. And then at night, I will do the Irish sea moss, and I'll do that usually lying in a bath, or I'll do it if I'm sitting watching TV. I'll just let it sit and set,
Yes.
and then I will wash it off properly using an oil cleanser, and then I will go through the whole Radiant Elixir skin repair
Yes.
and balm. Whilst it's absorbing, I do a lot of stretches, so my body can be quite tight because of the day. So that's when I'll be doing all my like actual stretches, hanging off the bed upside down. Because I find that, I mean, in the daytime it's also good, but nighttime I find that it's really, really beneficial to try and stretch your body up and your face. So a lot of core stuff as well, just before you go to bed. Because I feel like you kind of need to be aligned before you go to sleep. So you wake up
Exactly. And this is basically your wellness ritual that you do daily, because that was one of the
every day,
questions I was going to ask you, and here we go.
every day,
Perfect.
every day. Yeah. So I would say,
Let's,
yeah.
yes,
And at night, I generally use as a body oil or mist only Phoenix, Neroli, and black pepper or Wolf because they're
black
very, very
pepper.
calming.
Okay.
All of those are very regulating. Wolf has got a lot of, and Phoenix have got vetiver, which is really good at calming your nervous system as well. And
That's
Neroli is really good
amazing.
for your self-talk.
I love
You know,
neroli.
yeah, it's really good at just being kind to yourself as well.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Once again. Okay, last question. Let's chat about your pet peeve skin propaganda or a red flag that you absolutely drives you crazy. And this can be for anything.
I mean, it's so difficult. I really don't like to be negative about other
Yeah.
people, but
Yes.
if I'm going to if I'm going to be completely honest, my pet peeve is probably the instant results, miracle, cure, cream, la, 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 la. Like you
That's
use
not
this.
realistic.
It's not realistic. because as consistency is and quality ingredients is what works. Like from eating right to using quality natural ingredients, more than likely is going to work, but it's going to take time.
Of
It's
course.
also your self-talk. Fear, fear-based marketing puts you in a panic that there's something wrong with your skin or your body or your age or anything else. And I mean, I catch myself often going like, maybe I should be using those Korean skincare things and this and that and the other because I need to look like that. And then I remind myself like they've just sucked me in there. They don't need that at
Yes.
all. So it's it's crazy how many like young 20, 21 year olds are using instant result things because they've got a line or wrinkle which you cannot see, but they are already fear-based. Whereas like I'm a couple of years away from being 50 and you're like, well, I
You
mean,
would never, ever say that.
thank you.
Wow.
And I think that's what I was talking about. I think it's about being consistent and giving yourself like realistic expectations.
Yes.
And the fear based is what really drives me up the wall. It's the same
It's
as the
terrible.
whole, and I mean I have nothing against the weight loss ones too, but they also not helping people understand that taking care of yourself in a certain way, like I have put on 8 kilos in the last year and a bit because I'm also on HRT. And like I struggle with my own like
It's
sense of,
difficult.
yeah, not only because I'm putting a chemical in my body, but also because I'm putting on this weight. But reality is like, I gotta love this body. I'm also someone who doesn't know how to sit still and is like constantly frying many things on
Busy.
different pans and da da da.
Yeah.
But what I've found is forced rest, forced sitting still, like you sitting and studying.
Mm.
It's interesting because us being busy all the time is a trauma response. So you're
Yes,
forcing,
absolutely. It is.
yeah, and you sitting and doing this is like that inner child goes, no, I don't want to, and you have to.
It does.
And that is also why we put on weight because we really like shame ourselves in it too. And
Yeah.
instead of saying, I love what you're doing, right now we're taking this time to study and work on another aspect of our brain and our body.
Mm.
But it is a hard one. It's a really hard one.
Very, very hard. I hate being sedentary, I must be honest. I'm a fidgeter, so to sit still is like torture. But anyway, I wanted to ask you in terms of, are there any collabs or anything like that coming up? Any events? And then just to give us your contact details if people want to get hold of you, how do they do so?
So I've worked with so many people and I still love working with people. If it's something I could do more often, I would work with more people because that's my passion.
Yes.
But what I have actually done is I've got a business partner, Maria, who is amazing. She is my absolute everything as well. She's the head, I'm the heart of the whole business. And we have a bit of a pathway. We are looking at premises to have, just to spread our. It is getting a bit tight where we are now, and we need to expand
Yes.
that. And there will be things there for sure.
Lovely.
But in sense of collab, I think the more I'm doing is working with places like Fane and
Mm.
all Beyond and all of that, is working with people like that so that we people are experiencing things through hospitality, whether it's you're washing your hands with it or so in collab it's more directly bringing sustainability into the big hotel chains and the smaller ones too, sort of being an
Yes.
activist in that. I think just making bespoke scents for, like I made a scent for Kathleen, who I know that you also interviewed. And she
Yes.
made, yeah, so she made her own and she has it for her retreats and sells it. And I've worked with a lot of
Lovely.
other people like that who are my favorites. So I'm constantly collaborating, but it's more
That's
making the
lovely.
scents for them.
Yes. Perfect. And contact details, where are you most active on socials? Obviously, your Instagram.
Yeah,
The website.
Instagram. Yeah, so Instagram, Petrichor Oils. That's where I'm at the moment. It's all me doing it. I'm the only one creating content and everything. I love it.
Yes.
And then petrichoroils.com is the website. Not to blast anything, but there's a 20% discount right now. But there will be always specials on the website if you're listening or watching this another time of the year.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then you can send me an email at nics, at petrichoroils.com. If anyone has any questions about their skin, their mental well-being, what can help, please let me know and I will help you as best as I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been incredible. I'm sure we could have talked for another 2 hours.
Totally. Thank you. I really appreciate this wonderful chat that we've had. It sort of breaks the craziness before the silly season comes in or the
Yes.
festive season. It allowed me to sit still. Thanks again.
Thank you.